Hey guys, welcome to Neat Movie News. My name is Dean Thomas. And finally, it came in the mail today Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition. I wasn't going to spend an extra $20 online to watch it 2 weeks ago or so because I already ordered my Blu ray. So I'm a little late with this review, I know. But better late than never. But I just finished watching Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition. Now, originally, if you haven't seen my score of Batman v Superman, I thought it was an okay movie. It really, really, really disappointed me though, because I can't even begin to explain to you how excited for this movie I was. It was like a build-up of 2+ years. Batman is maybe the biggest piece in my life, as far as almost anything goes. The character means so much to me, so I was so excited for this movie getting a new Batman. I had faith in Ben Affleck as him, but then the movie comes out and it disappointed me for quite a few reasons. I mean, there's still a lot of great stuff, but to me, one of the biggest things was one, it's bloated. There's a lot in there, but two was the editing. It was really sloppy. There was no pacing, no flow. It was like there was just these giant big chunks of scenes, and there was no in between. They would just cut back and forth, and it made the 2.5 hour movie feel like 4 hours because there was just no flow or no pace. And what I will say about this Ultimate Edition is immediately, this edition feels faster than the other one, than the theatrical cut, because all of those small scenes that interconnect, all the scenes are there. You can feel in the theatrical version that they just went in with like a knife and just chopped things out just so it'd be 2.5 hours. So this 3 hour version works so much better in terms of flow and storytelling because all of the threads of the story are there. There's nothing just cut out. And those things that are really filled in is all of the really important stuff. Obviously, we had heard you get a lot more stuff in Africa, which played such a huge role in the movie, but you never really see anything. So that gives you a lot more information, and that also gives you a lot more into Lex Luthor's master plan, because this whole Ultimate Edition really spells out to you how much Luthor had his hand in everything that was going on, trying to take down Superman to kind of create this villain image with them. So Lex Luthor, although whether or not you love Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of the character itself of his master plan is so much more spelled out in this Ultimate Edition because you learn so much more. And through that, you also get a lot more story of Lois Lane investigating what Luthor's doing, investigating the bullet, investigating all of those things, which also then leads to Clark Kent investigating more. You get a lot more of him investigating into Gotham, into Batman, where in the theatrical you just more of get an implied that he's looking into Batman. Here you really see him going investigating, going into some rough neighborhoods, talking to people that have experienced it, or that maybe fear him a little bit more because he works in their area. And that's what one of the biggest things this Ultimate Edition does is you get a lot more character beats, especially with Clark Kent and Superman, who's really the one that was left out the most in the theatrical cut because they had to give you a lot more Batman to get you speed up. Which while I love all that, I still want this to be a good movie. In order for this to be a good movie, you got to have Superman in it. It's titled Batman v Superman, and that's what works. Is a lot more of the emotional moments with Superman in this Ultimate Edition work because you care about Clark Kent a lot more, because you see him a lot more. You understand what he's going through. You really build up the tension between him and Bruce Wayne. You see both of their sides, why they really start to resent the other's alter ego, why Batman resents Superman, why Superman resents Batman, because you go through these different little beats with them of where they see something that they don't like and something else happens that you can feel the tension actually building. When the theatrical cut, it just would cut all over the place and suddenly they were kind of fighting and he didn't really care. Which also being the fact that, and I assume you guys have seen the theatrical version, so they're spoiler here, but when Superman dies at the end, that's the big sacrifice of the movie. And there's no impact on the theatrical version because, okay, I don't, Superman's hardly been in this movie, I don't care. This time around, you really understand it because you get a lot more of him. You even get more moments with him and Lois Lane, so that at the very end, when he finally says, this is my world, you're my world, you care so much more. And you, in this movie, you do also understand where Superman's going, and you start to see more growing. Man of Steel, a movie I actually really, really like. I like that movie more and more every time I see it. But it was like, I can see where you're going here, Zack Snyder. I can see where you're going. Now give it to me. Now the problem was in Batman v Superman, we didn't get there. We didn't get where I thought he was going. We just got a longer path. I guess we learned that we were still getting there. It seems like we're getting there now with Justice League with some of these set reports and Jeff Johns coming on board. But even in this movie, there's still more hints of it because you start to realize he understands what he's here for. He doesn't care what people think of anymore. He's gonna be him. He's going to be Superman because that's what he believes in, and he believes that planet Earth is his world, and he's going to do anything to protect that. And you learn that, but just before he makes the ultimate sacrifice. So this movie really does make up a lot of ground. I mean, there's still some story points that don't work. There's still some plot holes. There's still some scenes that are in there to be cool, like the Batmobile scene. While it's cool, it's really more of just a scene to show out the Batmobile. There's a lot of scenes. I mean, the hard drives with the Justice League characters still kind of forced in there. I mean, there's going to be those things, whether or not you like the Martha scene or not. I'm a defender of that scene, but it's a whole other story. I do think it works for me. Obviously, it's not the strongest point, and I would have wished that after that they would have had like a philosophical talk about why I do this, why I do that, that sort of thing, like the Daredevil Punisher thing we saw in season 2. They really give out why each of them does what they do in their own way. And I wish we would have gotten that and taken off 10 minutes of the Doomsday fight because it gets a little long and bloated. And obviously, Zack Snyder likes to blow things up and destroy things in a big fireball. But nonetheless, this movie still works a lot better to me as this Ultimate Edition. This seems like the complete movie that should have been in theaters. Now, you can blame Warner Brothers for cutting it down to 2.5, but you can't blame them at the same time because they got to make money. And you can also blame Zack Snyder as well, though, for not making a movie that he knew probably had to be at least, that had to be 2.5 hours at the most, and not being able to meet that mark. So, I mean, you can put blame on both sides. But either way, if you're going to watch Batman v Superman, I would suggest just watching the Ultimate Edition and considering that the only edition, because this movie does improve the movie much more. Well, I was at a 7 with my original Batman v Superman score. I kind of went down to about a 6.5 the more I thought about it because it really just was a disappointment. It's not a bad movie, it was just a disappointing movie. But now I'm up to an 8. The Ultimate Edition really saved a lot for me. It really gave you a lot more character points, really tied all the threads together that really make the story go. So it's not just a convoluted story with some cool action as the theatrical one was. This one actually feels like a completed story and a completed movie. So I'm going to give Batman v Superman the Ultimate Edition an 80%, an 8 out of 10. It really improved some things for me, made me actually enjoy the movie, which makes me happy. I'm really looking forward to Justice League, which we've heard with those set reports. So the future is looking bright. Suicide Squad comes out in just a couple weeks. That looks fantastic. So right now, guys, I'm just excited. That's the one word to use right now. I'm excited. How about you guys? Have you seen the Ultimate Edition? If so, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Did it make it better or worse for you? What were some of the things that really stood out to you that made it better? Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you back here next time.